The Great Pyramid of Giza, a masterpiece of engineering that still baffles experts today. But what if its impossible precision wasn't achieved by ancient tools and immense manpower, but by a secret, advanced influence? This video will dive deep into the compelling evidence that suggests an unknown society was behind the construction of these iconic wonders. Challenging conventional history. Welcome to the Forgotten File. Imagine standing on the Giza Plateau, the desert wind swirling around you, the sun beating down on endless sand. Before you rises the Great Pyramid, an ancient giant, its limestone blocks stacked with a precision that seems to defy time itself. For more than 4,500 years, this monument has stood as a silent witness to the rise and fall of empires, the march of armies, and the endless curiosity of humankind. Let's start with the basics. The sheer scale of the Great Pyramid is staggering. Built from an estimated 2.3 million blocks of stone, some weighing as much as 80 tons. It was the tallest man-made structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years. Its base covers over 13 acres, about the size of 7 city blocks. Each side of the base measures about 230 meters, and the difference in length between the longest and shortest side is less than 20 centimeters. That's less than the width of your hand. But it's not just the size that amazes, it's the precision. The 4 sides of the pyramid are aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal points of the compass: north, south, east, and west. Modern satellite measurements show that the pyramid is aligned to true north, with an error of just 3/60th of a degree. That's more accurate than the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, built over 4,000 years later. The stones themselves are a marvel. The joints between them are so tight that you can T-fit a razor blade between most of them. Some blocks are fitted together with less than half a millimeter of space. The entire structure is level 2, within a fraction of an inch, despite being built on uneven bedrock. Even the casing stones, many of which have been lost to time, were polished to a mirror-like finish, reflecting the sun so brightly that ancient writers described the pyramid as shining like a gem. How did ancient builders achieve such perfection? The official story is that the pyramid was built using simple copper chisels, wooden sledges, and thousands of laborers dragging stones up massive ramps. But when you look closer, these explanations often feel incomplete. Let's break down the numbers. If the pyramid was built in just 20 years as mainstream, Egyptology claims that means workers would have had to quarry, transport, and set a stone every 2 minutes, 24 hours a day, 7 days. A week for 2 decades straight. That's without accounting for the time needed to level the site, build the internal chambers, and finish the outer casing. Modern engineers have tried to replicate the building process using only the tools and methods available in ancient Egypt. Some experiments have managed to move large stones short distances, but none have come close to matching the scale, speed, or precision of the Great Pyramid. Even with today's technology, building something of this size and accuracy would be a massive challenge. The quarries for the limestone blocks were located several kilometers away, while the granite used in the King's Chamber came from Aswan, over 800 kilometers to the south, transporting these massive stones across desert and river. Then lifting them into place with such accuracy would have required not just manpower, but an extraordinary level of planning and organization. The more you look at the details, the more the official story starts to feel like a puzzle with missing pieces. How did the builders achieve such perfect alignment without modern surveying tools? How did they cut and fit the stones so precisely? And why do so many features of the pyramid seem to defy the capabilities of ancient technology? The mysteries don't stop at the construction. The purpose of the Great Pyramid is another enigma. According to mainstream historians, it was built as a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu, but no mummy has ever been found inside, and the internal chambers are strangely empty. The so-called King's Chamber is a stark, granite-lined room with no decoration, no inscriptions, and no clear evidence of a burial. The only object found inside was a large, empty stone box, often called a sarcophagus, but with no markings to confirm its use. The pyramid's internal design is also unusual. Narrow shafts lead from the king's and queen's chambers to the outside, but they're too small for people to pass through. Some researchers believe these shafts were aligned with specific stars or constellations, suggesting a purpose beyond simple burial. Others point to the so-called air shafts, as evidence of advanced knowledge of astronomy and engineering. And then there's the lack of records. For a civilization that documented everything from religious rituals to tax receipts, the absence of detailed construction records for such a monumental project is puzzling. Some historians argued that the Egyptians simply didn't record the details, because it was common knowledge at the time. Others suggest that the records were lost or destroyed over the centuries, but the silence is deafening. All of this raises a crucial question. Are we missing a key piece of the ancient puzzle? Is it possible that the Great Pyramid was built with knowledge or technology that has been lost to history, or perhaps never belonged to our history at all? As we dig deeper into the mystery, it becomes clear that the official story leaves many questions unanswered. Why do so many details about the pyramid's construction remain shrouded in mystery? Why are there so few records describing how it was built, especially for such a monumental project? Some researchers have suggested that the Egyptians inherited advanced knowledge from an earlier, lost civilization, one that possessed skills and technology far beyond what we usually associate with the ancient world. Others have gone even further, proposing that the builders of the pyramid were aided by visitors from another world or by a secret society with access to hidden wisdom. It's easy to dismiss these alternative ideas as fantasy, but history has taught us to be cautious. Many discoveries once thought impossible have turned out to be true. The truth is, we may never know exactly how the Great Pyramid was built, or who or what was behind its construction. But that's what makes the mystery so compelling. The Great Pyramid stands as a challenge to our understanding, a riddle carved in stone. It invites us to question, to explore, and to imagine possibilities beyond the limits of conventional history. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into the engineering marvels of the Great Pyramid. From impossibly precise stonework to hidden chambers and astronomical alignments, we'll explore the evidence that suggests something extraordinary was at work on the Giza Plateau. In the shadow of the Great Pyramid, the questions only multiply. If the official story leaves us with so many gaps, what does the evidence actually show? Let us step inside the engineering marvels of Giza and see why so many experts and enthusiasts believe something extraordinary was at work. The Great Pyramid isn't just big, it's impossibly precise. The deeper you look, the more you realize that its construction defies what we know about ancient technology. Let's start with the stones themselves. Some of the blocks used in the pyramid, especially in the so-called King's Chamber, are made of granite. Granite is one of the hardest stones on Earth, much tougher than the limestone used for most of the pyramid. The granite blocks in the King's Chamber weigh up to 80 tons each and were transported from Aswan, for 500 miles away. But it's not just their size that's impressive, it's the way they recut and fitted. Modern stonemasons have studied these blocks and found that the cuts are so smooth and precise. They appear to have been made with tools far more advanced than copper chisels. Some surfaces are flat too, within a fraction of a millimeter, and the corners are so sharp they could have been made with a laser. Even today, with diamond-tipped saws and computer-guided machines, achieving this level of precision is a challenge. How did ancient Egyptians achieve this? The mainstream answer is patience, skill, and thousands of workers. But skeptics point out that copper is much softer than granite. Even with sand as an abrasive, it would take years to cut just one block, let alone hundreds. Some researchers have suggested the use of lost technologies, perhaps saws tipped with harder materials, or even unknown methods of softening stone. The King's Chamber isn't the only place where we see this kind of precision. Throughout the pyramid, the joints between stones are so tight that not even a piece of paper can fit between them. In some places, the blocks are interlocked in complex patterns designed to distribute weight and resist earthquakes. The casing stones, which once covered the entire pyramid, were polished to a mirror finish and fitted so perfectly that the structure would have gleamed in the sun, visible for miles across the desert. This level of craftsmanship raises more questions. If the pyramid was built as quickly as mainstream historians claim, how did the builders have time to achieve such perfection? Why go to such lengths for a tomb? And why do we see similar precision in other ancient sites around the world, from Peru to India? The mysteries don't stop with the stones. The Great Pyramid is also an astronomical wonder. Its sides are aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal points, north, south, east, and west. The error is so small that some researchers believe the builders must have had advanced knowledge of astronomy. or even access to tools we don't know about. Inside the pyramid, narrow shafts lead from the king's and queen's chambers to the outside. For years, these were thought to be air shafts. But they were too small for ventilation and don't connect to the outside in a practical way. In the 1960s, researchers discovered that these shafts point directly at certain stars, specifically Orion's belt and Sirius, which were sacred to the ancient Egyptians. Was this a coincidence or evidence of a deeper purpose? And then there are the hidden chambers. In recent years, scientists have used advanced scanning technology to peer inside the pyramid without damaging it. They've discovered previously unknown voids, large empty spaces that don't appear on any ancient plans. What were these chambers for? Are they simply structural, or do they hide secrets yet to be uncovered? The mysteries of Giza aren't limited to the pyramid itself. Just a short walk away stands the Great Sphinx, another ancient enigma. Carved from a single block of limestone, the Sphinx is one of the largest and oldest statues in the world. But recent studies have revealed something strange. The body of the Sphinx shows signs of water erosion. Geologists have pointed out that the deep vertical fissures on the Sphinx's body could only have been caused by heavy rainfall, something that hasn't happened in Egypt for thousands of years. The last time the Giza Plateau saw such rain was at the end of the last ice age, around 10,000 years ago. If the Sphinx really is that old, it would mean that advanced civilization existed in Egypt long before the pharaohs. Mainstream Egyptologists dispute this, arguing that the erosion was caused by wind and sand, not water. But the debate continues, and the evidence is hard to ignore. If the Sphinx is older than we think, what does that say about the origins of the pyramids? Could they, too, be the legacy of a lost civilization? Let's return to the pyramid's interior. The so-called Grand Gallery is a steep, narrow passageway that leads up to the king's chamber. Its walls are lined with massive stones, perfectly cut and fitted. The gallery's purpose is still debated. Some believe it was used to move the granite blocks into place, while others think it had a ceremonial or astronomical function. The king's chamber itself is another puzzle. It's made entirely of granite. It contains a single, undecorated stone box. No mummy, no treasure, no inscriptions. The chamber's dimensions are mathematically significant. Some researchers have found that its proportions encode the value of pi. The golden ratio, and even the dimensions of the Earth. Is this just coincidence, or evidence of advanced knowledge? Alternative researchers have gone even further, suggesting that the Great Pyramid was not a tomb at all, but a kind of ancient power plant. They point to the pyramid's internal layout, the use of conductive materials like granite, the presence of mysterious resonance chambers, as evidence that the structure was designed to harness or generate energy. While these theories are controversial, they highlight just how little we truly know about the pyramid's original purpose. Was it a tomb, a temple, an observatory, or something else entirely? The more we learn about the Great Pyramid, the more questions arise. How did the builders achieve such precision with primitive tools? Why are there so many astronomical and mathematical mysteries encoded in its design? And what secrets still lie hidden within its ancient stones? In the next section, we'll explore the most controversial theories of all. Was the Great Pyramid built with help from a lost advanced civilization, or even visitors from beyond our world? We'll examine the legends, the ancient texts, and the whispers of a hidden hand behind Egypt's greatest mystery. The deeper we look into the mysteries of the Great Pyramid, the more we realize how much remains unexplained. The evidence of advanced engineering, astronomical knowledge, and possible lost technologies has led many to ask, could there have been a hidden hand guiding the construction of these ancient wonders? For centuries, the Great Pyramid has inspired not just awe, but speculation. If the official story doesn't add up, what other possibilities are there? Some researchers and thinkers have dared to look beyond the boundaries of conventional history, exploring the idea that the builders of the pyramids may have had help from a source lost to time, or perhaps even from beyond our world. One of the most enduring alternative theories is that the ancient Egyptians inherited their knowledge from a much older, advanced civilization, one that existed long before the pharaohs. This idea isn't as far-fetched as it might sound. Throughout history, we've seen how knowledge can be lost and rediscovered. The fall of Rome, for example, led to centuries where much of the ancient world's science and engineering was forgotten. Some believe that the survivors of a cataclysmic event like a great flood or an ice age passed down their secrets to the people who would become the ancient Egyptians. These survivors, sometimes called the Atlanteans after Plato's lost city of Atlantis, are said to have possessed advanced skills in mathematics, astronomy, and engineering. The Great Pyramid, in this view, is not just a tomb, but a message from a forgotten age. Perhaps the most controversial theory of all is that the builders of the pyramids were not entirely human. The ancient astronaut hypothesis, popularized by writers like Erich von Däniken, suggests that extraterrestrial visitors may have played a role in the construction of the pyramids and other ancient monuments around the world. Proponents of this theory point to the sheer scale and precision of the pyramids, the lack of clear construction records, and the sudden appearance of advanced knowledge in ancient Egypt. They argued that the gods, described in Egyptian mythology beings with strange powers and knowledge, could have been misunderstood visitors from another world. While mainstream scholars dismiss these ideas as science fiction, the ancient astronaut theory remains popular in books, documentaries, and online forums. It's a testament to the enduring mystery of the pyramids that so many people are willing to consider such extraordinary possibilities. But the whispers of a hidden hand aren't limited to modern speculation. Ancient texts and legends from Egypt and beyond are filled with hints of lost knowledge and mysterious teachers. The ancient Egyptians themselves credited their wisdom to the god Thoth, the scribe of the gods, who was said to have given humanity the gift of writing, mathematics, and science. In some stories, Thoth is described as a being who came from the stars, bringing knowledge to earth. Other myths speak of Osiris, who taught the Egyptians agriculture, law, and the secrets of the afterlife. Outside Egypt, similar stories appear. The Sumerians wrote of the Anunnaki, powerful beings who descended from the heavens to teach humanity. In Mesoamerica, the Maya and Aztecs told of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent who brought knowledge and civilization. Are these just myths, or do they preserve the memory of real events encounters with beings whose knowledge was far beyond that of ordinary humans? The idea of secret knowledge passed down through the ages is not limited to ancient times. In the Middle Ages and Renaissance, groups like the Rosicrucians and Hermeticists claimed to possess hidden wisdom inherited from Egypt. They believed that the pyramids and other ancient monuments encoded secrets about the universe, the soul, and the nature of reality. The Hermetic tradition, named after Hermes Trismegistus, a figure often identified with Thoth, taught that the universe was governed by hidden laws, and that those who understood these laws could achieve great power and enlightenment. The phrase, "as above, so below," a central tenet of Hermeticism, reflects the idea that the design of the pyramids mirrors the order of the cosmos. Some researchers believe that the builders of the Great Pyramid were initiates in a lost tradition of sacred science, one that combined mathematics, astronomy, and spiritual wisdom. The pyramid in this view is not just a monument, but a book written in stone, waiting to be read by those with the key. Why do these alternative theories persist, even in the face of skepticism? Part of the answer lies in the enduring power of mystery. The Great Pyramid stands as a challenge to our understanding, a riddle that refuses to be solved. For every question answered, new ones arise. The idea that we are not the first advanced civilization, or that we have been visited by beings from beyond our world, is both thrilling and unsettling. It forces us to reconsider our place in history and in the universe. Mainstream historians and archaeologists continue to argue that the pyramids were built by the ancient Egyptians, using the tools and knowledge available at the time. They point to evidence of quarries, workers' villages, and ancient graffiti left by the builders. But even among experts, there is debate about the details. How were the stones moved and lifted? How was such precision achieved? Why do so many features of the pyramid remain unexplained? The truth is, we may never know the full story. The Great Pyramid guards its secrets well, but the search for answers continues, driven by curiosity, imagination, and the hope that one day the riddle will be solved. As we move forward, let's turn a critical eye to the mainstream explanations. In the next section, we'll examine the famous ramp theory, the lack of definitive records, why so many historians are quick to dismiss alternative ideas. Are we too quick to accept the official story, or is there room for a new understanding of Egypt's greatest mystery? As we continue our journey into the mysteries of the Great Pyramid, it's time to take a closer look at the explanations offered by mainstream historians and archaeologists. For decades, the most widely accepted theory has been that the pyramid was built using massive ramps either straight, zigzagging, or spiraling around the structure. According to this view, thousands of workers dragged the enormous stones up these ramps using nothing more than ropes, wooden sledges, and sheer determination. At first glance, the ramp theory seems logical. After all, how else could the ancient Egyptians have lifted blocks weighing several tons to such great heights? But when you dig deeper, the theory starts to show cracks. For one thing, the sheer size of the ramps required would have been staggering. To reach the top of the pyramid, a straight ramp would have needed to be over a mile long, using more material than the pyramid itself. Even a spiral ramp would have left clear traces in the surrounding landscape, yet no such evidence has ever been found. Engineers and architects have pointed out other problems. The ramps would have needed to support not just the weight of the stones, but also the constant traffic of workers and sledges. The logistics of building, maintaining, and then removing these ramps would have been a monumental task in itself. And as the pyramid grew taller, the ramps would have had to be rebuilt and extended, slowing down construction and making the already tight timeline even more improbable. Despite these issues, the ramp theory remains the go-to explanation in textbooks and documentaries. But why? Part of the answer may be that it's the only theory that fits within the limits of what we know about ancient Egyptian technology. It's a solution that doesn't require lost civilizations, advanced tools, or outside intervention. In other words, it's safe, but is it convincing? The lack of definitive records for such a monumental undertaking is another puzzle. The ancient Egyptians were meticulous record keepers, documented everything from religious rituals to tax receipts, from battles to building projects. Yet when it comes to the construction of the Great Pyramid, the historical record is strangely silent. There are no detailed blueprints, no step-by-step instructions, no lists of workers or materials. The only direct evidence we have are a few quarry marks in graffiti, left by workers in hidden chambers, hardly enough to explain the full story. Some historians argue that the records were lost over time, destroyed by floods, fires, or the simple passage of centuries. Others suggest that the Egyptians didn't see the need to record what was, for them, common knowledge. But for a project of such unprecedented scale and importance, the silence is deafening. It's as if the pyramid simply appeared on the Giza plateau, fully formed, with its secrets locked inside. This lack of evidence has fueled alternative theories, but it has also led to a kind of intellectual stalemate. Mainstream historians are often quick to dismiss ideas that fall outside the accepted narrative. Theories involving lost civilizations, advanced technology, or extraterrestrial visitors are labeled as pseudoscience or fantasy, and those who propose them are often marginalized or ignored. But why is there such resistance to alternative explanations? Part of it may be the natural conservatism of academia. Scholars build their careers on established knowledge, and challenging the foundations of that knowledge can be risky. There's also a fear of being associated with fringe ideas, which can damage reputations and funding. But history has shown that progress often comes from questioning the status quo. From daring to ask uncomfortable questions and explore new possibilities, it's important to remember that many discoveries once dismissed as impossible have turned out to be true. The existence of Troy, the reality of the Rosetta Stone, the deciphering of ancient script soul were once considered fantasies. The history of science and archaeology is full of surprises, and the story of the Great Pyramid may yet hold more. So what would it take to convince us that the official story is incomplete? What kind of evidence would truly change our understanding of the pyramid's construction? Would it be the discovery of new records, hidden chambers, or advanced tools buried beneath the sands? Or would it take a shift in our own thinking, a willingness to accept that the past may be stranger and more complex than we imagine? The debate over the Great Pyramid is not just about stones and ramps, it's about how we approach history itself. Do we accept the explanations we're given, or do we keep searching for the truth, no matter where it leads? Are we content with safe answers, or are we willing to embrace the unknown? As we reflect on these questions, it's clear that the mystery of the Great Pyramid is far from solved. The ramp theory, for all its popularity, leaves many questions unanswered. The lack of records, the precision of the construction, the astronomical alignments, and the enduring legends all point to a story that is richer and more mysterious than we've been led to believe. and so the search continues. New technologies, from ground-penetrating radar to 3D scanning, are revealing hidden chambers and voids within the pyramid. Researchers from around the world are re-examining old evidence and uncovering new clues. The debate between mainstream and alternative theories is as lively as ever, and the pyramid itself stands as a silent challenge to our understanding. As we move forward, let's keep our minds open and our curiosity alive. The Great Pyramid has stood for thousands of years, defying explanation and inspiring wonder. Its secrets may yet be revealed, but only if we are willing to look beyond the obvious and question what we think we know. In the final part of our journey, we'll explore why the mystery of the Great Pyramid continues to captivate us. We'll look at the ongoing quest for truth, the allure of the unknown, and what this ancient wonder can teach us about ourselves and our place in history. And of course, we'll invite you to share your own theories and join the discussion. Let's continue our search for answers and see where the path leads. The Great Pyramid of Giza has stood for thousands of years, its secrets locked within millions of tons of stone. Yet, even after centuries of study, debate, and speculation, the mystery remains as powerful as ever. Why does this ancient monument continue to fascinate us? What is it about the Great Pyramid that draws people from every corner of the world, generation after generation, to gaze up in wonder and ask, how is this possible? Part of the answer lies in the sheer audacity of its construction. The pyramid is not just a pile of stones, it's a statement. It challenges our assumptions about what ancient people could achieve. It forces us to confront the limits of our own knowledge and to question the stories we've been told. When we look at the Great Pyramid, we're not just seeing a relic of the past. We're seeing a mirror that reflects our own curiosity, our drive to explore, and our hunger for answers. But the pyramid is also a reminder of the fragility of knowledge. For all our technology and expertise, there are still things we don't understand. The official explanations, while logical and well-researched, leave gaps that invite alternative theories. Some of these theories may seem far-fetched, but they serve an important purpose. They keep us asking questions. They remind us that history is not a closed book, but an ongoing investigation. The story of the Great Pyramid is also a lesson in critical thinking. It teaches us to weigh evidence carefully, to consider multiple perspectives, and to remain open to new ideas. It's easy to accept the first answer we're given. A true understanding comes from digging deeper, from challenging our own assumptions, and from being willing to change our minds when new evidence emerges. This is why the mystery of the Great Pyramid still matters today. In a world where information is everywhere, but true understanding is rare, the pyramid stands as a symbol of the quest for knowledge. It reminds us that the past is not just a collection of facts, but a living puzzle, one that we are all invited to help solve. As we look to the future, the search for answers continues. New discoveries are being made every year, from hidden chambers deep within the pyramid to ancient texts that shed light on lost traditions. Advances in technology are allowing us to see the monument in ways the original builders could never have imagined. And as our understanding grows, so too does our sense of wonder. But perhaps the most important lesson of all is that the journey matters as much as the destination. The Great Pyramid invites us to be explorers, to embrace the unknown, and to celebrate the mysteries that make life so endlessly fascinating. Whether you believe the pyramid was built by ingenious Egyptians, lost civilization, or with help from beyond our world, the real magic lies in the questions themselves. Was the Great Pyramid the work of human hands alone? Or is there more to the story than we've been told? What evidence would convince you one way or the other? Are we missing a crucial piece of the puzzle? Or are we simply not looking hard enough? We invite you to join the discussion. Share your theories, your questions, and your insights in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going and see what new ideas we can uncover together. If you enjoyed this journey into one of history's greatest mysteries, please like this video, subscribe to The Forgotten File, and hit the bell so you never miss a new story. Your support helps us bring more untold histories and ancient enigmas to light. Thank you for watching, and remember, the past is never truly lost. It's just waiting to be rediscovered.